Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. How are y'all doing? I hope you are having a wonderful week. Today is Thursday, March 6th. It's been a couple of weeks since I've been on. I do apologize. I've been super, super busy. That is no excuse, though, because we are still pushing through our workbook sale Survivors, Advocate, Inspire, and Live After Abuse. I do apologize. I've got two cameras going on here. So, for those of you who are watching, I apologize for looking back and forth. I gotta adjust myself because my other screen I was kind of low. Anywho, so I am Rhonda Green, the author of Sales Survivors Advocate, Inspire, and Live. And what we're doing tonight is continuing to go through this workbook. This is a 7-month mindset mentorship for female survivors of domestic violence. However, I am coming on to give you some of the lessons out of the book. If you do have the workbook, feel free to follow along with me. If not, you can go to my website, rhondagreen.com, or on Amazon to purchase the workbook. This workbook was written from my experience in collaboration with a couple of other people who I do have lessons in the private mentorship for. So some of the things in the workbook we really go deeper into in the live classes. But if you're watching, sorry, I'm not taking anyone to join me in the live right now. If you are watching the live or the replay, feel free again to send me questions if you have any, but definitely you do have time to go and get the workbook. And if you're interested in the actual 7-month mentorship, you can reach out to me or just go online to go ahead and purchase that. All right, so last time I think we went through some of the activities in the self-evaluation section, which is on page 12 in the workbook. So tonight we're going to actually skip over the hallway of the mind activity. That is one of the activities that is only available to those in the mindset mentorship. So if you're wanting to find out exactly what that's all about, join the mentorship. The next chapter is chapter 4. It is called Guiding Principles. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight, guiding principles. Why did I include in this book a chapter about guiding principles? Well, as a survivor of domestic violence, you know that there was a time in your life where the way you ran and managed your life was not always in the best interest of yourself. And that is one of the things we talk about when we're rebuilding our confidence and when we're thinking about the decisions we have made that allowed us to stay in a relationship that did not serve us well. One of the things that survivors often have to overcome is the fact that they allow themselves to remain. And I know a lot of times people can't necessarily just leave because abuse happens in so many different ways. It could be financial abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse. And some of the things that can happen to people is they are literally restrained from leaving. And when you are getting out of a relationship, that for a lot of women is more dangerous than the entire abusive relationship because that person doesn't want to let you go. They think that they own you. And even though you love them, they feel that that love allows them to control you. So one of the things that I have to make sure that you are aware of is that one, there is help and you can work with a professional to create an exit plan. There are lots of agencies that are there to assist you with that. Always put your safety first. And if you are in an abusive relationship and you have a child, make sure that you're doing what's best for you and that child. I specifically work with women who are no longer in an abusive relationship. So as we talk today, I want you to keep that in mind. In my program, I'm only working with women who are no longer in the abusive relationship. One of the reasons I do that is because I know myself when I was in that transition phase where I'm like, I've got to get out of this, but at the same time, I was still with him. I know the back and forth that women sometimes go through. And that is not conducive to really moving on. And that's what we want to do in the sale program. We want to sail beyond the past. We want to get our lives back together. And you can't do that when you're still clinging on to what is holding you back. And that's anything in life. If you want to move forward, sometimes you have to let things go. My mentorship is specifically for the female survivors who have fully let that go. And that's the best way to move on. If you're still in that phase, I still have something to help you. There's a book on my website, 7 Ways to Free Your Mind After Abuse. It is a free download. It doesn't require your email. It is a resource for you so that you can actually get something in your hand that you can read and help you with that phase where it's that in-between phase where you've got to go, but maybe you just don't have the strength yet. So make sure that you help yourself by grabbing that ebook, reading it. It's free, and it tells you several things that you can do to free your mind from abuse, because everything starts within the mind and spirit first. When you have a belief in your mind, when you have something in your spirit, that's where it starts before it actually manifests in the physical. And so that's one of the reasons that I wrote this chapter about guiding principles. You have to know what you stand on. What are the principles, the mantras? What are you telling yourself? And it could be good or bad. A lot of people have guiding principles that are not necessarily good. So we're going to go through some of this. And if you have pen and paper, grab that, use it to write down. If you have the book, go ahead and take your book out. And we are on page 19. All right, so it says women are naturally caregivers who place the needs of others above their own. So let's stop there with that first sentence. Yes, women are natural caregivers. Rather you are a mom, an auntie, whatever, you naturally have that innate ability to just care and love for people. Sometimes that is taken advantage of, and it's not always your fault, because you naturally want to love someone, you naturally want to care, you naturally want to see the best in other people. Don't change that. That is a good trait to have, but you need to acknowledge that and also have the boundaries so that that is not taken advantage of or misused, and that is not abused by someone who only wants to take and never wants to give. There's nothing wrong with being a caregiver, but it must be done in order. When you're on an airplane, you're told to put your oxygen mask on first. If you do not, you will run out of oxygen. And we've all heard that before. Put your mask on first so that you can help yourself and be able to help others. You can't sit next to your child or a person on the plane and try to help them when you're suffocating. And that's how it is sometimes in an abusive relationship. You have given your attention to that man or that woman while you are dying inside, because you're trying so hard to make it work. You're trying so hard to please them, but you forget about pleasing yourself. You think that, oh, if I could just do this differently, or if I can just hang in there until he gets through this phase in his life, whatever's causing him to be abusive, rather it's a loss of income or just a lack of self-esteem, you're trying to make up and wait out him changing. And as a caregiver, you don't need to do that. So let's continue to dive into why we are this way. All right, so number one, because we're going to go through these tips that can help you love yourself more and be fully present in your life. And when we talk about love yourself more, I want to remind those of you who have not watched the first video, I did talk about loving yourself more. I think it's the first video or the second video. And one of the activities in the book is an activity about how you love yourself. I use the guiding principle of the Bible, 1 Corinthians, love is patient, love is kind. So go back and watch that, because we put your name into that verse and compare how you love yourself against that standard in the Bible in 1 Corinthians. Okay, so number one, mind your inner voice. It's important to be aware of your thoughts and how they affect your self-esteem. Replace negative self-thought with positive affirmations. Do not ever say anything bad about yourself. Let me stop right there. People will sometimes make little statements about, oh, I can't do this. Well, here's the thing. Of course you can, because you said you can't. Turn all those thoughts, those words into a positive. We never talk down about ourselves. We never do put downs about ourselves or other people. I don't care how small it is. As a matter of fact, one thing that I've done in the past is jokingly say to people, my stomach and my butt are the same size. Okay. And even if I think it's true, one of the things I can't do is convince myself that it's true. If I want to have that summer body, I'm not going to say, okay, I'll never get there. What I have to do is change my self thought and say and speak what I want about myself. Sometimes people are working on a task, whether it's at work or wherever, and they're like, oh, I'll never finish this. Well, don't put that out there. I think words do have power, and there's an energy that you put out there. In addition to that, whatever you tell yourself, whether you're just joking or rather you're serious, what happens is you subconsciously start to believe that. Imagine if you were to get up and look in the mirror every day and tell yourself, I am the greatest. Like Muhammad Ali, I am the greatest. I am the greatest. I am the greatest. If you keep telling yourself, I'm the greatest, eventually you're going to start believing yourself. And it's the same thing for the opposite. If you keep telling yourself, I'll never succeed, I'll never be this, I'll never have a loving relationship, those are the things that you're planting. So those are the seeds that are going to grow. So make sure you start to turn your negative self thoughts and talk into something positive. All right. So an example I write in the book is I am worthy of love and respect. I'm capable of achieving my goals and dreams. I am enough just as I am. And so if you have the book, you have a space right here to turn some of those negative thoughts into a positive. Pause for 1 second because I want you to just take a moment and think about the things you thought about just in the last hour. Was there anything, any thought that came to your mind in the past hour that you need to redirect your thinking on? Maybe in the past hour, you sat down and was watching TV. I don't know. Maybe something came to your mind as you were doing that. Maybe something like, okay, I'm just going to sit here and not do anything tonight because I'm lazy. Turn that into a positive. You can relax, but just say, hey, I'm going to take a moment to relax, refresh my mind, let go today, the negativity. I'm going to rejuvenate myself, and then I'm going to get up and go. I'm going to get up and go after the next thing in my life. I'm going to get up and write out my task list for tomorrow, write out what I need to accomplish tomorrow or tonight. So anything, it could be something small, something big, but just take a moment. What thoughts came to your mind today that you should have stopped in their tracks? Write it down. But as you write it down, change it. In math class, how they would give you a sentence and say negate it. Well, I want you to make it a positive. If there was any thought that came to your mind this day, go ahead, make it a positive, turn it into a positive and write it down. Because from now on, you will not repeat any negative self-thought or repeat any negativity that someone has said to you. We are changing our mindset. Number 2. Body scan. Okay, I love this exercise that's in this book. It's called body scan because if you've ever had an MRI, you know what an MRI does. It looks at everything internally. All right, and that's the activity we have under number 2. It says, a magnetic resonance imaging is a procedure that scans the body from head to toe, taking images of the anatomy of the body. You have to lay still in a big tube that only one person can fit into because it is all about you. The only movement is your breath as the MRI scans the health of your organs. So listen, let us talk about the MRI. I love this example. I like analogies. You'll read in any of my books that there are analogies. I've written 3 books, 40 Questions Before a First Date. I've written How Much Is Your Dirt Worth? And of course, Sail, this workbook. Now, MRI, remember, if you go into an MRI, the first thing that you do is you have to lay on this machine. And the nurse will tell you, lay completely still. He or she will say, put your hands by your side, relax. And if you would just do that with me right now, put your hands down, take a deep breath, let it out. Feel your shoulders relax. Feel your face muscles relax. Because when you're laying on that table in that MRI, before they move you into the machine, they make you stand still. They make you lay still. They make you relax. And that's what we need to do for ourselves daily. We need to give ourselves an MRI every day, okay? Because we want to know what's going on internally. You need to sit there, relax. And if you can lay down, I don't care if you have to lay down on the floor in your living room, lay down, relax, like you are about to go through that MRI. All right. And you're the only one who can do this. You're the only one who knows what's going on internally. I don't care how much you talk to your best friends. Do you tell them everything? Maybe you do. But at the end of the day, there's some things you still have to work on by yourself. So this MRI, when they look at your anatomy, they're seeing what's going on the inside. And when you do your own MRI, the self-reflection, just like that machine, you have to look at what's going on inside. And like I said, you're the only one in that MRI. You have to stay still, and you have to stay still long enough for them to take a good image. So this is not something where you lay down and 5 minutes later you're popping up and going about the rest of your evening. This is something I want you to really set aside some time tonight and give yourself an MRI, okay? You're going to reflect internally on myself, okay? All right. So it is known that emotions affect our physical health. If this is true, it is possible emotions can be stored in the organs. Researchers call this phenomenon embodied emotions. And you can look that up. Just Google emotions trapped in the body. Anxiety is felt in the chest and gut, while shame can be seen in the face. And you've seen that, especially with children, if they do something. As a matter of fact, even with your pets, like, have you seen these videos of the dogs where they tear up the couch? And then as soon as their owner gets home and starts to speak, the dog puts his head down in shame. So we feel those emotions of shame too. All right. And anxiety is felt in the chest, shame in the face. Shame can be seen in the face. If we have muscle memory, wouldn't it be possible for organs to have emotional memory? When I talk about muscle memory, okay, I have not gotten on a bicycle like outside on a, 10-speed bicycle or anything like that in years. But I guarantee you, if I were to go outside and jump on a bicycle, that I know how to ride it. I did it as a kid many, many years ago. I'm not a rider as an adult, a cyclist, they would say. But if I jump back on a bike, even though I haven't ridden a bike in years, I remember, I have muscle memories. My legs, my arms, my hands, they will still know what to do. It's muscle memory. It's something I've done before, and I can now repeat that. So if you can have muscle memory with riding a bike, as you think about the negative emotions and the negative experiences, the abuse you went through, you do have muscle memory. It's the reason why someone has been in an abusive relationship will flinch around other people who have never laid a hand on her. It's muscle memory. It's a reaction. It's an emotional attachment to your physical body. And those are things that when you sit with yourself and do this MRI scan of your internal organs, emotions, I want you to think about that. What muscle memory do you have? What emotions are stored up in your muscles that should not be there? You got to relax and let that go. But you can't get to that point until you're able to reflect and see your own MRI internally and your emotions. Okay. All right. So like we said, the MRI is a scan of the body. You're laying still. So you got to take the time to lay still. Take the time to breathe so you can connect with yourself. You're the only person that can fit in the MRI because it is all about you. As a survivor of domestic violence, you never stop to think when you're out of that relationship to give yourself time to let life be all about you. You are so focused on everyone else. You're focused on him or her. You are focused on maybe work. You're focused on just protecting yourself. You were living in high alert for a long time, however long you were in that abusive relationship. But now it's time to focus on you. This MRI activity is very important because it allows you to focus on you. Once they slide you in that machine, it's like being in a tube where you can't see what's going on outside in that room. So you are laying there, and usually it's just looking at white, looking at lights. There is nothing to distract you. As you reflect upon your emotions and your feelings and your life and what's going on internally, take away all distractions. Turn the phone off, turn the TV off. Make sure that you are in a place where, no one's going to come knocking on your door. Put a do not disturb sign on it if you have to. Whatever you have to do to get that alone time. If you never have alone time, how can you say you know yourself better than anybody else? We spend a lot of time with other people. Some of those people actually study us. They take the time to really genuinely get to know us. Do you take the time to genuinely get to know you? Oftentimes, when you're in an abusive relationship, you've forgotten you. You've forgotten who you are. There is no way, if you knew who you were, that you would stay in a situation where someone abnormally abused you. Abnormal abuse, ABUSE. I've heard that explained as not normal use of something. It becomes abuse. It's not the norm. It's when somebody doesn't understand your value and they use everything against you. They use you against you. So now we got to retrain ourselves to remind ourselves it's not me. I'm not a bad person. I got into a bad situation, but now I'm out of that. And so now I'm going to retrain my brain, rethink, and get to know me. Get to know who I really am. Get to know what makes me happy, what drives me, what makes me tick. Because when you're in an abusive relationship, you forget all those things. You definitely forget who you are. Because once again, if you knew who you are, even if you're never in an abusive relationship, you would not allow people to walk all over you. So I want you to self-reflect as you're laying there, like you're in an MRI machine, and it's just you. And you're thinking about all the things that you've experienced. Think also about what got you there. What were the limiting beliefs that got you there? Did you believe that you were destined to remain in this situation because the prior person didn't treat you well? And maybe the relationship before that failed. And so now you've got this thought process that is never going to be good for you. Well, if that's what you've internalized, figure out where that came from. Reflect while you're in this MRI and figure out the root of that. Then change your thoughts. Identify it and then begin to change your thoughts and your feelings and your self-talk. But the first thing is recognizing that is how you're thinking about yourself. All right. So thank you for the love. Thank you for the love. All right. We are in week 4, guiding principles of SAIL, Survivors Advocate, Inspire, and Live. We're still on number 2 on page 20. We're talking about the body scan, the MRI. And the next thing I say in the book is, and you can do this tonight or when you wake up in the morning, do a body scan. I do encourage you, do this every day before you get out of bed. Do a body scan. All right. So let's see. This next paragraph says, pay attention to your physical body. Pay attention to the areas of tension. Relax your shoulders, relax your neck, relax your legs. Because like I said, when you're in that MRI, you got to stay still. It doesn't give a good image if you keep moving. So if you're in your life just trying to stay busy, going about your daily routine, you keep moving and never take the time to stop and be still, you're not going to get a good image. And so you got to stop, take the time, be still so you can get a good reflection of what is going on internally. Nobody can do this for you. You got to do it for yourself. And even if you feel I don't have the strength, I don't even want to know what's going on internally because I'm so messed up. Come out of that. Change your self talk. I'm in a messed up place, but I'm not messed up. I'm in a messed up circumstance or situation, but I am not messed up. I just need to reflect and reveal the things that got me here so that I could self correct. I'm not messed up. I'm in a messed up situation that I'm about to change. And my whole life, my future will be different. This is just going to be a stepping stone. Everybody goes through ups and downs in life. Have you ever been on a roller coaster? All right. So if you're on a roller coaster and you like roller coasters, says I don't like roller coasters. Okay. There are ups and downs, but you know it's going to come to an end. You know that the ride's going to come to an end. You're going to get off the ride and go on to the next fun thing in the theme park. So life has ups and downs. There are peaks, there's valleys. There's times when things go slow, there are times when things go fast. But if you're on a roller coaster, there's always movement. Even as it's creeping up to the top, it might be going slow, but when you get to the top, it's going to suddenly move. And so when you go through life's ups and downs, when things are, life seems to be moving fast, life seems to be moving slow, life seems to be going up, life seems to be going down. Do not get discouraged. Don't allow yourself to get stuck any place in life because the ride goes on. Things continue. I have to decline you because I'm not accepting anyone into the live, okay? You can send me a message on my website, rhondagreen.com, RHONDAGREEN, rhondagreen.com. So that roller coaster ride, it comes to an end and you get off and you're going to be fine. So if life seems like it's been a roller coaster ride for you, be encouraged and know that when the ride's over, it's just one stage and you can go on to the next thing. All right. The next ride. Most people don't go to amusement park and only ride one thing, right? They keep going to everything and enjoying everything because you paid your money. So you're going to try it all. Okay. And so it is the same way in life. You are here for a reason, a purpose, and I want you to try every ride, okay? I want you to enjoy the ups and downs of life, okay? Let's go back to our MRI, all right? And so as you're doing this, I want you to deliberately scan every part of your internal body from your toes to your head, okay? Every part. All right, even to your eyeballs is what I write in the book because we are scanning everything and we are trying to internalize what we're feeling. We're trying to put it to words. We're trying to face our feelings. Nothing's getting swept underneath the rug because when you are in the MRI, it sees everything. All right. So if you're experiencing physical ailments due to stress, emotional pain, identify those things. Is your stomach in knots because of worry? Identify those things, that MRI scan. And I have a place in the book to write, if you were to do this MRI scan of yourself emotionally, internally, mentally, physically, what would you see? If you don't have the book, just get a piece of paper and pen and write it down. All right. I instruct people to do this MRI activity. And then each time you do it, you can maybe after the third or fourth time that you've done it, compare the difference and how you're feeling in every part of your body. Are there any differences? You know, I tend to have to remind myself to relax my shoulders because a lot of times I do carry my stress in my shoulders. So I have to remind myself of that. So when I do my MRI, I always have to say, Rhonda, drop your shoulders, relax, okay? Because that is where some people carry their stress and tension. Once you have identified that, you can work on it, okay? All right. So once you've done this for a few weeks, you should be able to get better at identifying your emotional state and even your emotional state subconsciously, even when you're not actively thinking about how I'm feeling. You're just going through your day, just working, and you're not paying attention to self. This MRI activity should really help you to start paying more attention to your feelings and how you're carrying any stress or any experiences in your body. We do not want to do that. We all want to live as long as we can, and stress kills. So make sure you let those things go. All right. One other thing, if you need professional counseling, please seek help. Nothing I say is to be considered as counseling for psychological, emotional issues. I wrote this book because I am a two-time survivor of domestic violence, and I want to help you not repeat the cycle. A lot of times we get the counseling, we get the help we need, but you still might want someone there to hold your hand in your day-to-day life. That's what we do during the 7-month mentorship. There are activities throughout the book for you to do every day. Once again, if you're not in the 7-month mentorship and you still want something to help you, go to my website, rhondagreen.com, get the free ebook, 7 Ways to Free Your Mind After Abuse. You don't need to put in your email address. That is not required. I just want to put this resource in your hand to help you begin to free your mind from what you've been going through, okay? I only work with women who are no longer in abusive relationship. And so during that 7 months, we're fully focusing on you and getting your life back together. Number 3, page 22 says, clear your mind. Observe and understand your current beliefs and values and the real motivations behind them. Make sure you don't carry other people's beliefs and values. And that's one that's kind of hard to break away because it may be depend on how you were raised, your culture, different things, and not everything that we were taught needs to be carried on in who we are now. I'm not saying that someone intentionally misguided you, but remember, just like I have said in my lives, when I was parenting my child when she was younger, I was parenting her from a hurt place. I was parenting her because I had not dealt with my trauma. After I got out of those abusive relationships, I continued on. And I had no problem continue on because I had her to focus on. So it was easy to focus on her and be that caregiver versus making sure I was focusing on me so that I could better raise her and not raise her from a place of my trauma and from where I had not grown through the things. And remember I said, put the oxygen mask on yourself first. Well, I know from experience that I didn't do that. And so you do not want to be in a place where you are affecting someone else's life, especially your children, because you hadn't put the oxygen mask on your own face first. All right. So sometimes we have to unlearn things. Sometimes we have to realize that we may have taught people things because of where we were. It's like someone who says all men are dogs. Well, that is not true. That is not true at all. Their experiences and their choices may have been bad situations, but that doesn't mean all, ALL, all. No, it's not true. So that's what I mean by thinking about how you interact with others, what you believe, what your thoughts are, and where they came from, why, and how do you change those thoughts. The first step in creating the life you desire is recognize the power of your beliefs. And what does that say? The power of your words. All right. Using your values to guide your decisions goes back to understanding what drives you. Your thoughts affect your relationships. Your beliefs and values have a significant impact on how you interact with others. If my core belief is honesty, I will display that in everything I do. Being honest with myself and others is a guiding principle that helps me build strong relationships and make better decisions. Respect for myself and others is a guiding principle that helps create boundaries in my relationships. So then I have a spot where you can write your guiding principles. So there's a blank line, and you put something in that is a guiding principle, that blank. So you have space in here to write your guiding principles. For example, I said honesty. You can write that as a guiding principle. All right. And we're going to move on. This chapter has so much stuff in it. Number 4, invest in self-care. Take care of yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally. These things can include getting enough sleep, invest in yourself, eating healthy foods, exercising regularly, practicing mindfulness and meditations, and spending time with loved ones. Okay. Also, if you have a book, I want you to be intentional about your activities. Ooh, my leg is going to sleep, y'all. I've been sitting here Indian style. My leg's going to sleep. Sorry. I got to get up. All right, let me not sit on my leg anymore. Okay, it just went to sleep on me. All right, you see how I got to pay attention to my own body because I did not mean to sit on my leg that long. All right. So in this book, you have like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And so what that is here for is for you to write down your self-care activities for the week. Okay. So if you don't have the workbook, just grab a paper and write your self-care activities for the week. Every day, do a self-care activity. Okay. All right. Some things that I encourage also is dance and movement therapy. So even if you don't go to an actual professional for this, you guys turn the music on and just dance. Dance like nobody's watching. Someone who's been in an abusive relationship has often lost their joy. You're to find joy in the little things. Okay. I'm not the best dancer. As a matter of fact, I might not stay on beat all the time, but I can electric slide. So give me a line dance song with the instructions and the words. I can do that. Now, some of these new line dances I haven't figured out yet. Okay. But the old school ones, yeah, cha cha, I can do that. So even if you're at home by yourself or with your kids, turn the music up, do something to move. Okay. Just have a little fun. All right. If you've been in an abusive relationship, you have not had continuous fun. You don't have to tell me. I know because I've been there. You may have moments of fun, you may have moments of joy, but not continuous. Imagine how happy you would be. Imagine how your life would be if you woke up every day with a smile. You woke up every day thankful to be alive. You woke up every day living the life you want to live. And that's one of the activities in my book where we talk about your dream life. We talk about when you wake up in the morning, think about when you cross your legs and throw your legs off the bed, when you're about to put your legs on the floor, touch the floor. When you put your feet on the floor, what are you feeling? You know, for me, I'm like, okay, my ideal dream life, I'd wake up, open my eyes. There's a big window in my bedroom. I can either see the city skyline or I can see a beach. Okay. And I put my feet on my nice, maybe hardwood floors, or I don't want to say marble, but you know, those floors, granite or whatever, look, a tile. That's what it is. All right. And it won't be cold because I've heated floors. Okay. I'm living my dream life. And then, you know, just go through your day. That's one of the activities early in the book. And we also do that one-on-one because I want you to realize that the things you dream about can come true. They can come true. All right. And we work backwards from whatever your dream life is, what you say you want. We set that as a goal. And during the 7 months, we're doing things to work backwards to work towards that. Okay. So if you know you want to be here and we're here, now we know the goal so we can work towards that. Okay. So that's one of the things we do on the one-on-one. So I absolutely take the time with each person who comes to the mentorship to make sure that we have a plan in place. We know where we're starting. We know where we're ending. And there's some more self-reflection things in the book that we do throughout, because we start with the quiz and you can go back and listen to that. But we start with that, and then we do the exact same one at the end of the 7 months. So we have a gauge of our progress, and we do that periodically to make sure we are on task. All right. Number 5 is to set boundaries. Learn to say no when you need to and prioritize your needs over the needs of others or the demands of others, because sometimes people demand your time not because they need anything, but because they know you're not going to say no. And that's another thing I have to teach people, to learn to say no, especially during the 7 months that we're together, when people are pulling you all different directions. This is a time for you to focus on you. During the mentorship, I understand we all have life. We have other things that need our attention. We have to work. We have to, if you run a business, you have to definitely do those kind of things. And some women are at a place where they can just step away from all of their financial incomes, responsibilities, so that they can focus on themselves for the 7 months. And if you're that person, great. If you're not, it's still great, because we work with your schedule. Because when the 7-month mindset mentorship ends with me, I need you to have the tools to continue on to move forward in your life. It doesn't stop. It's called sail. We're going to keep sailing or sail to the other side. Okay. So number 5 was set boundaries. Number 6, explore your spirituality. This can mean different things for different people, but it's important to know you have a purpose and your life has meaning. For God so greatly loved and dearly prized the world that he even gave his one and only begotten Son. So whoever believes and trusts in him as Savior should not perish, but have everlasting life. That's John 3:16. Jeremiah 1:5 says, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. So I want everybody to know that you are so special to God, that even before your mom and dad conceived you, he already knew you. He already knew the plans for you. So he plans for you to be prosperous, have a life that's filled with love and good things. So never feel that you are a failure. Never feel that you are unwanted, because the God of the universe who created the heavens and the earth, he wanted you. He wanted to love on you so bad that he was willing to say to his only Son, I'm going to need you, Jesus. Go down there in a human body, in the flesh, so that you can redeem and pay the price for a sin that's in this world. Because I'm such a holy God, I can't touch the sin, but I can through you, through your blood and sacrifice. And that sacrifice, we are forgiven for our sins. So God loved us. What do you believe about your purpose in life? I want you to write that question down, because it's not something that you can answer during this live, but write that question down. What do I believe about my purpose in life? Some of you don't even have an answer to that. Go back and do that MRI. Go back and think about the things that you love to do. Go back and think about the things that you naturally have the ability to do. And if you do the one-on-one with me, we dig a little deeper into that. I'm not going to go very, very deep on purpose right now, because that's real an activity I love to do a one-on-one on. And if we were doing a one-on-one with this activity about purpose, and this is a whole nother thing, we would definitely talk about, my cat just scratched me. We definitely talk about the things that you do naturally, the things that you enjoy, the things that you're afraid to do, because you know deep down inside you were called to do it. That's your purpose. You can have more than one purpose, but typically we will focus on one thing at a time, because it's very hard to be doing everything at once. It's just like someone who's getting a college degree. You may get a dual degree at once, but I doubt you're going to work on 3 degrees at the same time. So you may have to space it out. You have to change up a little bit. But we work to find out, what is your life purpose? At different stages in life, it can be different things. If you're in the parenting phase, maybe your life purpose right then is to be such a great parent to that child, because that child could be, who knows, future president, or that child could be Who knows? It's like to say a teacher's influence never ends, neither does a parent. But there are different purposes in different phases of our life. And if you're just not getting out of an abusive relationship, the one purpose we have together, you and I, is to make sure that you know what is within, because everything is within. Everything is within. Think about that. It's like when my mom was pregnant with me, I had all the eggs within me that would be one day fertilized and be my daughter. Everything was is within. So not only do you have what is within for you, you got everything within for the next generation. And we and our one-on-ones will pull that purpose out, because let's face it, you never know what tomorrow holds. But we got to make sure you're not hindering yourself from what tomorrow holds for you, because you've been stuck in an abusive relationship and it's still in you. So you may be out of the relationship. We got to get that a relationship out of you. Okay. The parts that hinder you from moving forward, the parts that have kept you sabotaging your own self because of the doubt, the lack of confidence, the fear, the intrusive thoughts because of that abusive past. Okay. We are going to work through those things because you deserve the best for yourself. You deserve the best life for yourself. I know you see other people, they look like, oh, they have it all together. Well, they had to get there. They weren't born like that. We live in a fallen world. When God created the heavens, this is not, He wanted us to be in the garden. That's where He created us. That was the original purpose. Now, He knew that Adam and Eve would be disobedient. He knew that, but He still loved us. And even the time where He said, I'm going to just wipe the earth clean and start all over with Noah, He knew, but He still didn't destroy us all. He left Noah and his family so that they could replenish the earth. So we go through things. And I love talking about the waters too, because there's so much significance in that, but we're not going to jump into that. I'll save that for another day. Or maybe if you're in the 7-month mentorship, we might do that privately, because the waters is deep. It is so deep. Think about the ocean, how deep the ocean is. Whew. And then the waters, think about the woman when she's pregnant and the embryo, it's in the waters. It's in the womb. Oh my God. Yeah, there's a chapter in my book called The Womb of a Woman. It's in this book, y'all. Oh my God. Now it is so deep. I'm not going to go through, because that teaching for women who've survived domestic violence and you don't know your power, oh, you got to come with me on the journey when we do the chapter on the womb of a woman. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. All right, let's get back. Let's get back to this. Let's get back. All right. What do you believe about your purpose in life? I'm not asking you what your purpose is. You can mention it, but I need you to write what you believe about your purpose. So yeah, not only do we dig for our purpose, but we also have to talk about what we believe about our purpose. Because you know what? I have always known that I'm an author. I've always known that, but I didn't actually write my first book and release until like 2019. Okay, so if I've always known I'm an author, why did it take so long to write the book? Because of what I believed about my purpose. Because see, you write a book and it's out there forever. Even when I'm long gone, this book, somebody can read my thoughts and read my words, because this was not AI generated. 40 questions before a first date. How much is your dirt worth? And sale. Not AI generate. These are my thoughts, my feelings, my life experiences that I poured into words. And guess what? I knew it was my purpose. I knew that was one of the things I was purposed to do in life. But what did I believe about it? I didn't believe I could do it. There's something you know is within your life's purpose, but you don't believe you can do it. Can I get an amen? What would happen when you start to believe everything is within? I will say that a lot. Everything is within. All right. So, like I said, we go into that on our one-on-ones. All right. Okay. Let's see here. What else I want to say? I'm not going to read all this to you. So in conclusion, loving yourself is important for your well-being and happiness. Take time to identify and challenge the limiting beliefs that hold you back from loving yourself. Challenge the limiting beliefs that hold you back from loving yourself. Someone who survived domestic violence, you probably have a hard time loving yourself because someone else has told you you are not lovable. How they tell you that? Even if they never said it in words, they said it in action. They made you believe that you are not lovable. They made you believe you are not worthy because of how they treat you. Someone put in your mind that your life is not even worth living. But I'm glad you didn't believe that part. I'm glad you are here today for me to tell you that was a lie. That was a lie. So if you want to believe anything that you heard tonight, I want you to remember you have a purpose. God has a plan for you. Everything is within. And anyone who's ever told you different is a bold liar. All right. So we are challenging our limiting beliefs. We're changing our mindset about ourselves. You are lovable. You are worthy. You deserve the relationship, a healthy relationship. But it's going to start with you having a healthy relationship with yourself. And that's what we are going to make sure happens when you go through my mindset mentorship. You're going to start to have a healthy relationship with yourself. You're going to do the MRI. You're going to write down your purpose and your beliefs about your purpose. All right. If you didn't do the prior workshop activities, go back and do those things. Write down love is patient, love is kind, that 1 Corinthians verse, and substitute your name. I'm just reviewing because I know some people on here for the first time. Get the book, get the book so you can go through some of these activities. Now, there will be activities in the book that you'll read, but you won't have the full-fledged activity like the Hallway of the Mind, because that is something exclusive for only those in the group. And the reason that is because I had a artist named Namara to actually craft a personalized vision story for survivors of abuse as we walk through this hallway, but it's the hallway of the mind. And you go through things that happen in your life. It's an activity that's about 30 minutes long. And it's more than just a meditation. It's taking yourself on a journey. And this whole 7-month mentorship is actually a journey. I don't know about you, but I like to travel. And anytime you travel someplace, you always get some good experience out of it. You learn more about yourself, maybe even pushes you out your comfort zone. I went to Germany last year. I think it was in July, August, somewhere around there. I went to Germany and I drive. I have a car here. So I don't live like in New York where most people are riding the subway every day. So I do not do that every day. Didn't know how to really read the maps. And I went to different places in Germany by myself. I was so proud of myself because I followed the map and got on the train by myself and made it to my destination. So you learn things about yourself when you travel, right? You learn things about yourself when you travel because you sometimes have to just figure it out. And to top it off, I was in a country and the main language was German. I know very little German, but I knew enough to get around, to understand things, even though some things ich verstehe nicht, I did not understand. However, I knew enough to figure it out. And so traveling, especially when you're going abroad, it puts you outside your comfort zone. But at the end of the day, you are experiencing something new. You're exposing yourself to something new. And so through the SAIL mentorship, think about it as traveling. Again, It's called sale for a reason. We are exposing ourselves to something new. We're learning something new about ourselves, and we're growing at the same time. All right, so I will ramble on, and I don't want to do that with y'all. Where was I? Cultivate gratitude, appreciation for yourself and your life. Set healthy boundaries and respect your needs and preferences. Celebrate your strengths and achievements. Nurture your passions and interests. Find joy and meaning in your everyday life. Don't keep waiting for the next big thing. The next big thing is this moment now. And I want you to enjoy every moment of your life. You've got to. You've got to. I mean, think about it. You've been through worse. It's a shame to say. I actually told a guy I was dating, this was after the abusive relationships, because he was doing some things and, oh, sorry. Wait a minute. What did I tap? What did I tap? What did I tap? Oh, this saying my live is going to end in 4 minutes. Why? Oh, I gotta actually tap. Okay, I've never seen that. You have to drag the puzzle, please. Okay. All right. So, anywho, um, thank you all for joining me, especially Dr. Scott. I didn't know you were in here. Okay. Let me see here. I did not see your invitation, so let me send that to you. All right. Where was I? Nurture your passions and interests. Enjoy your life. Find joy and meaning in your everyday life. Are you ready to start loving yourself? That's the question I asked in that paragraph. Are you ready to start loving yourself? Because sometimes people say they want something, but they're not ready for it. If you're ready for something, you prepare for it. If you're going on vacation next week, you're going to prepare. You're going to pack your bags. You're going to, let your bank account know, hey, I'm traveling abroad. It's me spending this money in another country. Don't freeze my account while I'm abroad. You're going to turn on the roaming service on your cell phone. You're going to prepare. And we are going to prepare for our future life. We are going to do what we need to do to move forward and move past the abuse. Okay. All right. So the last thing that I have in this chapter is a quote by Zig Ziglar. And it says, what you get by achieving your goals is not as important as what you become by achieving your goals. And that's definitely a true statement, because it's not just the end result, but it is everything that you do, grow through to get to that end result. All right. So I want to thank everyone who stayed with me until the end. I appreciate your time. I know that once time is spent, it can't be brought back. So I appreciate the time you have with me this afternoon. I hope I said something to encourage you. The live is going to be on my YouTube channel. So you can go to YouTube, Rhonda Green, if you want to rewatch this. There'll be clips on TikTok. If you're watching me on TikTok, there'll be clips on Instagram, but the entire live, our entire discussion tonight will be on my YouTube channel. And when you go to YouTube, you're going to see I look like I'm this short in my screen because my computer sits up a little higher. So I'll fix that the next time, you guys. But remember, it doesn't have to be perfect to get done. All right. And that's the thing I want you to remember in your own life. Doesn't have to be perfect. All right. You can continue to strive for perfection. You can improve every time, because the more you do something, you get better at it. Like the more you try to focus on changing those negative thoughts to positive, you get better at it, and it will become muscle memory. Just like riding a bike, it's going to become muscle memory, and the negativity will soon vanish. All right. Thank you all for joining me. Hope I said something to help you in your journey in life. I love you all. And please come back. Let's do it all again next week. I love you. Take care. Bye. Bye, YouTube. Thanks for watching.